calling all gap year parents. My name is Millie Whitehead and I am co-founder of the Leap Overseas, a company which specialises in volunteering and adventurous gap year programs abroad. Now, over the last 20 years, we have been asked many a question by many a parent about how you put a gap year together, how you script it. Do kids even listen to us as a mother of two? The answer is definitely not. So, to be helpful, I have put together this little guide of the 5 conversations that would be really useful to have around your kitchen table to help the planning process. Okay, so stay with me. 5 main conversations, 5 main points. The first is let's talk about structure. Now, a lot of you will be sitting there thinking, oh my good Lord, they finish school gets earlier every year, I know. They finish school in July, and then if they take a gap year, that is months and months and months and months until they go to university, a year following in September, October. Yep, I hear you, that is a overwhelming length of time. But chunk it up, divide up that time into neat little chunks. The first chunk is they're going to finish school. They're going to go and enjoy their summer. They're going to go crazy, go to those festivals, all their end of term parties, go to a hideous place like Santee and go crazy. You know the drill. That's what they're going to do. Come September the 1st, that is it. The allowance is over. And that is when they work. And they work every hour known to man from September to at least Christmas. And at this point, I'm not entirely bothered about what job they're doing. Forget work experience, that can happen down the line. The key now is to every hour to earn some cash, whether that is working in a coffee shop, babysitting in the evening, working for hamper companies. There's loads of brilliant gappy jobs out there, and there are many companies that specialise in recruiting gappies at this time of year. So get them busy. The aim, their kind of weekly aim, is to earn minimum 300 quid a week, okay? And it soon racks up. So, structure. Chunk number 1, September to Christmas, they're earning money. Chunk number 2, Christmas to Easter, they go travelling. They leave this country because it is now, I'm filming this on a January day, it's particularly dark and grim out there. So they need to be gone by January, because if not, they're the minority left behind, and it's pretty depressing when they're looking at all their friends on Snapchat who are in glorious places. Okay, then September to the summer, there's another chunk. They can come back, do something different, maybe do a course, or they've done the course beforehand, now they're independently traveling, and then the summer they come back, earn more money, family holidays, get ready for uni. So that is a good tidy divvy up of that long length of time. So let's just refer back to chunk 2. What do they do in January? Now, a lot of kids will sit there and go, oh, I'm just going to go traveling. Oh, I'm just going to go backpacking. Oh, I'm just going to go hostel hopping with my friends. Now, that is great, but I would urge you to get your kids to actually do something structured as their first leap like that, using, excuse the pun, but as their first step into the world of travelling. I highly recommend they do some form of something organised, something useful, something they're going to kind of put back. Ski season, really useful, learn loads of skills. Volunteering, really useful. They can give back, they can contribute, they're experiencing something different. A course, learning history of art or something along those lines, learning how to type, learning how to do an Excel course, something really useful, okay? After which, they go independently traveling. But the aim of the first step is that they really gain in the confidence, they're really ready for that independent challenge. And the two things offer completely different, contrasting challenges. So if you were traveling with us, for example, on a structure program for month 1, yes, everything is organised for you, you're busy, But the challenge is you've got to, meet a whole new load of people. You're doing completely unique and wonderful things. The challenge of independent traveling is that you are thinking every single day, where am I going to stay? Where am I going to eat? Who am I going to meet? And it can get quite relentless and quite dull. So travel, backpacking, hostel hopping fatigue can quickly settle in. So the two combined are really, really good. Now, let's talk about the how. This is expanding on the hostel hopping volunteering, okay? When going back to doing the first leap of doing something structured, when you are volunteering, there are so many things to think about to match your kid, your gapper, their level of challenge, their level of expectations, their level of sociability, okay? So people fall at this hurdle all the time because, dare I say it, basic thing as costs, okay? They look at the LEAP program and think, oh my God, that's so expensive, I'm not gonna do that. Oh, I'm gonna go with this program, which only cost me 150 quid a week. Okay, I understand, they are worlds apart, but you've got to look at them in more detail rather than just looking at the baseline cost. Okay, so with a program like ours, which is a team program with a group of people the same age, they arrive and they finish together, so they experience the whole journey together. The importance of that team is really, really important. They're meeting people from all walks of life. They're meeting people they don't necessarily like to begin with, but by the end, they absolutely love because they've gone through this experience together. They've gone through the highs and lows together. The camaraderie, it is really, really good. I'm a midlifer and I take lots of team midlife programs, so I really know, and it's hard to verbalize the really importance of that team. I love a team, and you don't recognize it until you've completed it. Anyway, back to that team. Within that team, you are doing loads of different things. Projects, your morning, your afternoons, your evenings, they're all different, contrasting experiences throughout your LEAP experience. Conversely, if you went to volunteer and you just went to teach in location A for, 4 to 6 weeks, that's great. You might be going with a friend, but questions to ask, okay? Where are you going to be based? Who are the other volunteers? What age are they? Do they start and finish on the same day? Are you doing the same thing every day in the same place? Who's going to help in case you got ill? Who's going to be around to guide you within the first week? So describing those two contrasts. Yes, LEAP, we're structured and we're highly organised. First is the cheap seats, which are, doing one thing in one place. Where does your gapper fit? What do they need? Could they cope with the volunteering in one place? Had they got that confidence to go, oh, okay, yeah, this is great. I don't know you from Adam, you're here today, gone tomorrow. How will it roll with them? Where were their personalities and their level of self-reliance and go-getting? Which one fits them best? And that is really key to have an honest conversation about that around the kitchen table. That, to me, out of everything, is really, really valuable. Again, with the ski season, it's all very well to say, okay, we're going to do a ski season, you can't get a job, but just get on the train and just go and find a job. Really, is that going to work for your kid? Only you know your kid best. They might be saying that, because they've got the camaraderie of friends to do that, but actually, is that going to work in the long term? If you think, oh no, that's all a bit dicey and dodgy, and they could, if it doesn't work, they could be kind of crumble at the first hurdle, then really encourage them to get a job before they go with one of the gap year ski companies. Okay, so that is what I really wanted to cover on the how you're going to do it. Next up is, let's talk about the where. Okay, now this is really interesting because I would say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, Australia and New Zealand I'm going to package up into one. So 5 gap year friendly continent destinations. Okay, now everybody might say, oh yes, Southeast Asia versus Africa, da, 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 da. But actually each of those continents have a different set of challenges and rewards to fit the gap year traveller. So starting with Asia, Southeast Asia, super easy. If you had a gapper that isn't very travel savvy, actually just wants the kind of hot, humid beaches, a bit of jungle perhaps, a few hill tribes, then Southeast Asia works perfectly. So easy to get around. The buses, the trains, the infrastructure, the hostels, pretty slick. Okay, easy peasy. Africa, on the other hand, I would say is the other end of the scale. It is a much tougher gig to navigate. So if you're going to Africa, you really start on something structured so you can find your feet. You really work out how you're going to get from A to B, because there aren't backpacker buses linking up the different places. You'd have to go on local buses or fly, and the cost can increase. I love Africa, don't get me wrong, I think it's absolutely brilliant, but it is tougher. A lot of our gappers actually start on our Kenya program in January, because why not? It's the best time of year to go to Africa, especially at the coast. And then they add on Southeast Asia. So that is a really brilliant combo, because you've got the grittiness of Africa, you've got the volunteering, but you can fly so easily into Southeast Asia. You're ready for that independent host-hoppling moment, and off you go. So those two tie in really well together. Central America is a really good place to start, especially for a new traveller. Costa Rica, Guatemala, Belize and Mexico really combine beautifully together. You've got the cloud forest in Costa Rica with the Pacific beaches. You've got the history and the culture of Guatemala. You've got the jungle and the Caribbean beaches of Belize. An awesome 3-month itinerary. And very easy to navigate, again, with the logistics, the hostels, everything is geared up towards backpacking. South America, tougher in that the distances are bigger. So you've really got to, a lot of overnight buses, but the rewards for me in South America are huge. Yes, it's vast, but my God, the activities that you could do there are huge. You've got the Andes, you've got the Amazon, you've got Lake Titicaca, you've got the salt flats in Bolivia, you've got the volcanoes in Ecuador, the Galapagos. It's like, wow, big hitting moments. So I absolutely, and not forgetting Colombia. I love Colombia. So you've got great countries there. The last, because they're my least favourite, are the Australia, New Zealand continents. Super easy for the gapper, absolutely easy peasy to travel in, and to combine. The downside, really expensive. So be careful, you only want to spend a maximum of a month if you go to Australia or New Zealand, because you will be burning through that cash. Okay, so those are my top tips for the where. Next up, your third conversation to have, and this a conversation I would have closer to departure. Okay, whilst they're away, what are your expectations? Because what you don't want is for the gapper to think that you're stalking them, and they also want to feel that sense of freedom. So often what happens is the first week or two you might get loads of WhatsApps, which is a reflection of them still feeling a little bit kind of anxious. It's all kind of new, they're finding their feet, it's just like don't be alarmed, that's fine, but don't encourage it. And gradually what you want is that the WhatsApping to drift off, so that it becomes longer and you're actually saying to them, are you okay? That is a great sign. That means that they're really immersed in what they're doing and they're really engaging and loving it. So hopefully by the end of it, you're just receiving the odd photo. But actually, if I was realistic, you're probably receiving the odd WhatsApp saying they've run out of money, this has happened, that's happened, but you get my gist. At the beginning, you're going to have a lot of communication. At the end, very little. But again, discuss that with them at the kitchen table. What are your expectations? And parents, be honest with them. If you are really, really anxious, just say to them, I am this parent, I am not going to sleep well when I know you're zipping around the world, so please could you just send me a text every 3 days, whatever it is. So it's you really work on the communication together. Okay? The other thing that you could do while they're away is if they're with the Leap, you're going to know exactly where they are at any point in time, and we've got the 24/7 backup. But if they're independently travelling, you could take out a thing called Travel Aid, which is brilliant. It's run by friends of ours. It's 24/7 helpline, and they pick up the pieces if something goes wrong. So they're really, really good. I'm just having a look at my little list. No, that's all good. Okay, moving on to the nitty-gritty before they go away. My top tips. Before they go away, you have access, or just make them literally leave on your desk at home the telephone numbers of who to call with their mobile phone, their bank details, their passport. Should they lose everything, you've got a copy at home and you know exactly what to do. Okay? Vaccinations. Make sure that they are vaccinated. And the rule of thumb is Hep A, tetanus and typhoid. Those are the 3 main jabs. But if you're going to Central America and going up, if you're in South America and you're going up to Central America, you need yellow fever. If you're going from Africa to South or Central America, within 2 weeks of each other, you need yellow fever. Top tip. People often fall down on that one. Travel insurance, oh my goodness, you would be amazed. Again, you get what you pay for. Do not skimp even on travel insurance. Get a decent policy. And the most important thing to find out is not who the face of it is. We always recommend Campbell Irvine. It's not necessarily them. It's if there was a problem, who is behind doing the rescue, air evacuation, whatever is required. So find out who they are and what their reputation is. And that is all on the nitty-gritty. So the last question, which you're going to discuss at home, last conversation, is the frequently asked questions. Okay, this is what we get asked all the time. Fact, I'm going to put my glasses on so I don't miss anything. Okay, should my gapper take a suitcase or a backpack? Definitely take a backpack or a duffel style bag. What they're not to take is a hard shell suitcase. That is terrible, hard to transport, hard to strap on the top of buses. Packing cubes, essential. Should my gapper book everything in advance, or can it be left last minute? They are to book their flights in and out of a country. They're to book their flights from one country to the other. And if they know when they've booked their flights, they're to book the accommodation on arrival in that country. Other than that, they freewheel it because their plans will change. Okay, so that's all they need to book in advance. But before they go, they download all the apps like Booking.com, Hostel World, so that they can easily book their hostels as they hop around the country. How much money do they need to budget for their gapper? Well, again, let's remove their structured part of their gap year. So if they were doing the Leap, they would have to budget that, or doing some volunteering, or doing a ski season or a course. That's a separate budget. But when they're hostel hopping, budget £1,000 a month. Will universities be put off by my son, daughter doing a gap year? Absolutely not. That will not be a problem. Apart from if you're going to Oxford or Cambridge, that could be a problem, but that is that's out of everyone's control. But they don't have a problem as long as you've used it wisely. If you say that you've done absolutely diddly squat apart from sit on a sofa for a year, then maybe. The last question is, if my gapper wants to book a volunteering experience, a ski season or some course, Do they need to do it in advance? I would say most gappers start booking up tightening up their plans in the summer, either at the Easter before their A-levels or the end of their summer, the first and the month of September. That's when everything really gets booked up. And that is that. And now it is time to get them on the aeroplane and wish them well. So that is all from me. I hope you found this useful. If you want any help, please get in contact with us at The Leap and we can guide you further. Okay, thank you. Over and out.